Welcome to the series of tapes designed in this case to acquaint you with a successful student who will be discussing how to succeed at Millersville University. I'm Dr. Alf Anton, your host for the series, and with me today I have a good friend, Shannon Sisson. Shannon, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we talk about Millersville and your experience, we got a little background on you. Where are you from, Shannon?
I am from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. It's right outside of King of Prussia.
Okay, and you came here in what year as a freshman?
2009.
2009. And you were undecided.
I was undecided.
Totally.
Yes.
You didn't really lean towards anything?
Well, when I applied to Millersville, I applied for the education program. Okay. But my GPA was good enough, but my SAT scores weren't good enough. So they placed me in the undecided exploratory program. And I was mad at first.
You were mad?
I was, because my GPA was good, but I'm really bad at taking those tests, and the math score was what kept me from being in the education major. But coming here after like 2 weeks, I realized that education was not for me. So I'm actually glad it worked out that way.
Okay, looking back on that freshman year, you were part of what they call the living learning community. Did you know that?
I didn't until into a month to school was when I realized that's what they did.
And you had a freshman 3-credit inquiry course, a seminar, whatever they called it.
I did. It was called How to Change the World.
And you are now in the process of changing the world, right?
I guess you could say that.
Okay, and you had the same students following you around in some classes too, or?
I did. I had half of my wing was undecided. Most of them wanted to be education majors. And they were all in my wing and all in my classes, all 5 of my classes.
And then you told me on the drive up here that you made some lasting friendships there, right?
I did. I still have 2 best friends. One of them was my first roommate, and one was my next door neighbor. And I still talk to some of the girls that were in that too, but I do have 2 best friends. Okay,
we obviously have abandoned the education goal, right? We're not going to be in education.
No, I realized that was not for me.
Okay, we are in communications.
We are in communications, yes.
Which option, broadcasting?
I'm in broadcasting, but I'm also, I wish I could be both, broadcasting and public relations, but my major and concentration is broadcasting.
Okay, and we're getting ready to graduate, but before we get there, you have really taken hold and become a leader at Millersville University.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
What do you lead?
Well, not anymore, but from January of 2012 to December of 2012, I was the vice president of National Broadcasting Society. Okay. And that's one of the organizations that's targeted towards broadcast majors. And now, currently, it started in May of 2012. I am the current station manager of WIXQ, our radio station here.
And that means you have to oversee about 90 students, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's one of the biggest organizations on campus.
And as a leader, how do you feel? What are some of the things that go through your mind? What have you learned about yourself when you have to lead this whole big organization?
Well, some wise man once told me that leadership is lonelyship. Really? Yeah. And that's true sometimes, because you do have to delegate and you have to be the bad guy sometimes, but it's also really nice because people look up to you, come to you with questions. So you have to know the ins and outs of the entire organization. You have to know the constitution of the organization, and you have to be able to solve problems as a station manager. And also as vice president of National Broadcasting Society, I had to do the same.
In addition to that, you've had some internships too. What about these internships you've had?
I did. My first one was with you, okay. And I filmed the videos that I'm now in right now. Okay. So that was my first internship. I learned a lot of editing, stuff like that. Also being on time, knowing how to communicate with people you're interviewing, and filming was a good thing to know. And I also have a current internship through Student Services, and that's more marketing, public relations related.
And what does that entail you doing?
Well, I do work I do have 2 jobs on campus, and I work at the SMAC ticket window, and I also work all events that are at our winter and wear center and also athletic games. So that's how it started, and that's how I met my boss, who is now my internship advisor. And I still sell tickets and I still work events, but I also am doing more with the MU Tickets Online. I'm doing the behind the scenes, things like that, and also working with the social media. I created an Instagram for MU Tickets Online.
Do you ever sleep?
I do. It's really hard to balance my time actually this semester because I worked really hard before. I took 2 extra classes, so now I only need 3 to graduate. So I have 3 classes and an internship right now, and one of them's online. So I have a lot more time to dedicate to my internship and the organizations that I'm in.
Time management must be really crucial for succeeding at Millersville, right?
Yeah, it's really crucial. Time management is really crucial for every student at any college. And it takes a while for people to realize that, but it's really important for classes, organizations, anything you're involved in, sports, any activities. Time management is crucial.
Well, it's safe to say you've taken full advantage of everything Millersville has to offer, so you must like it here, huh?
I do. I do really like it here. I'm graduating on time and I'm ready to get into the world and figure out a career path. But I liked my time here and I like the people that I met.
Okay. Are you looking at any career in particular? Or?
Not in particular. I would love to work with radio, particularly in promotions, public relations, marketing of a radio station. That would be like my dream job. Okay. But I'd also wouldn't mind working for a public relations company or something like that. That's what I'm going to be looking towards and applying for soon.
And we never even brought the grades up. Your grades are good too. I know. I used to check them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I worked really hard. Some of my classes weren't the best. They were kind of hard, but the majority of them, because of time management, you can do pretty well.
I gather we don't like necessarily mathematics though, right?
Math and science are not my strong points at all.
What do you recommend people do? Math 100, is that what you would recommend?
Math 100, definitely. Everyone has to take a placement test. I don't know if like every person knows that when they come here, but every person has to take a math placement test. And personally, if you're going for the major of communications, I would suggest Math 100, even if you're placed into something higher, which I was, but I decided to just do Math 100, and that's the only math class I've taken, and that was a pretty good decision on my part.
Okay, well, here's your chance, Shannon. You are the model student, the leader. What would you recommend for students who are looking at Millersville, looking at coming in undecided, anything like that?
The undecided program of when they match students with other interests and similar schedules, that definitely helped a lot. It made you feel a lot more welcome, and as a freshman I didn't really realize it, but looking back I see how much it affected me, and it was really nice and it worked really well. Also, another thing, time management, which we said is crucial for anything you do in college, any major you have, it's really important. But the most important advice I would say is to get involved in anything. It doesn't even have to be with something in your major. It can be intramural sports. It could be any club on campus. There's like over 100 clubs over 100 organizations on campus. So I definitely think getting involved is the best way to get new experiences and also meet new people.
Well, Shannon, I want to thank you. And believe me, Shannon is a model of a successful student, and you can learn a lot from the advice she gave you. Thank you for listening, and Shannon, thank you.
Thank you.
For agreeing to do this.
Thank you.
Hope you learned something. Take care.